Last time we came in English, this time in Tibetan. And okay. Lama dong gombo je zun jambe yang la jan za gong ge lo zhu zhen yin zhen yin da ra nan da ra za ni xin yi deng ge xi jin zui je ni je dong ga Lin Wang Zhen Tong Da Zi Be Zhen Re Ma Re Mun Dong Ma Dong Ma Ji Si Wei Zhuo Zuo Zhong La Pe Ji Da Zi Yin Lai Zhu Ju Yang Den Zong Zhou Da Li Qi Zhui Niu Mong Ni Long Li Ji Jiao Zhuo Zhen Zi Jin Ma Re Mun Dungare nyugue yinye junze ranzhen ne da jin sa jun dar song yoden lanzo jerse de wo go ju cha ju dong ju ni jin ta le me sen jan be yong de mara ban me zong ra ban me mara ban na de Amara bandina danji jara vazare jaya dalu demo nambara vzara kadan denju jumla dobaye lodru popi nawa zardu zo onse tawarandu bam jumzi ndwarandu na yang dambo jam yang jini Kime baryan dong yo man jeno man jeno man jeno Nyingwe tebe kesare shibane jabje chenchen lama yorla shin le tong nyumo drabo zerwa ye garwa ngamba dalai jabe Chiwari de jinen gului jendu shu chendang xi ji kunjang xin zu zu. In English, one time.
Um, Bill, how about you lead this for us today? Thank you.
O Lama, care for me. O Lama, care for me. O Lama, care for me. From the blessing lotus of devotion at the center of my heart, rise up, O compassionate Lama, my only refuge. I am plagued by past actions and turbulent emotions. To protect me in my misfortune, remain as the jewel ornament on the crown of my head, the chakra of great bliss, arousing all my mindfulness and awareness, I pray.
I think I muted, so I didn't hear. Sorry, my fault. Okay. Unjo sung de yen zawa zong de le rang yin tu je jing go la yang je ning bo bar de gyab zo yin chi. English.
In the three jewels in their essence, the Sugatas, in the three roots, Guru, Deva, and Dakini, in the nadis, vayus, and bindus, and their nature, bodhicitta, in the mandala of essence, nature, and compassion, I take refuge until enlightenment is fully realized. In the
So nong jin de jin ri jin korwa lu gun jin do jam 荣瑞无色颜色二色界其美界阿弥三界道。
Whole, mesmerized by the sheer variety of perceptions, which are like the illusory reflections of the moon in water, beings wander endlessly astray in samsara's vicious cycle, in order that they may find comfort and ease in the luminosity in the all-pervading space of the luminous expanse of awareness. I generate the immeasurable love, compassion, joy, and equanimity of the awakened mind, the heart of bodhicitta. Whole, like bubbles appearing on water, all of you deities arise from the space of primordial wisdom before us. I prostrate in direct awareness of the ultimate nature. I offer the increase of visionary experience. I confess in the full measure of awareness. I rejoice in the exhaustion of phenomenal reality. I implore you, turn the wheel of Dharma from the expanse of the great transference. I request you, please remain in the great rainbow body. I dedicate all the merit towards the youthful face body.
Thank you. And here, last session, we talked about the ground. Jigme Lingpa mentioned ground. So here we use not Vajra versus the ground path version by Jigme Lingpa. We can look at the first three verses that all about Dzogchen ground. And you probably know this well, but sometimes we need to remind us what Dzogchen ground is. And I taught this many times. I think last was in GBI. And again, I'm going to teach these in what they call Dawn Mountain in Texas in this May, I think, end of May. So anyway, need to familiarize these chantings, and particularly we are looking at Jigme Lingpa's Vajra verses, and this is also Jigme Lingpa's ground path version. So today we read three verses that about the ground, and think about or visualize or on what Dzogchen ground is. This is important. Okay, Bill.
You'd like me to recite this? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Homage to the glorious Savantabhadra. The true nature of things is naturally free of conceptual projections. It does not exist, since even the victorious ones do not see it. Yet neither is it non-existent, as it is the ground of all samsara and nirvana. There is no contradiction here, for it lies beyond the realm of expression. May all realize this great perfection, the true nature of the ground. In essence, it is empty, hence free from the limitations of permanence. By nature, it is clear and free from the limitations of nihilism. Its capacity unobstructed, it is the ground of manifold emanations. It is divided into three, yet in truth, there is no such differentiations. May all realize this great perfection, the true nature of the ground. Inconceivable and free of all superimposition, one-sided fixation on things being either existent or non-existent completely dissolves. The full import of this turns back even the tongue of the victors. Without beginning, middle, or end, it is a great expanse of deep clarity. May all realize this great perfection, the true nature of the ground. Its essence is...
We can stop here maybe today. Today we contemplate on on the ground that what we see. And if anyone wanted to add anything that our ground in the Vajra verses, we have only sort of one line, but here you can see Jigme Lingpa expanded in the three verses, and often people have or there's no clarification on what is ground and what is view. It's complicated. Sometimes people traditionally it's kind of blurry because there's not much make a distinction or clarification on these because these two are related. The ground means the reality. The view is matching our understanding that reality. And when we just describing the ground, so here Jigme Lingpa's aspiration prayer is saying, may all realize this great perfection, the true nature of the ground. It's a little bit, Tibetans would be a little bit different. I think it may all realize the true nature of the ground of great perfection, or the great perfections, the true nature of the ground. It's not great perfection, it's the ground. It's the nature. The ground is belongs to, or it's talking about the Dzogchen ground, the great perfections ground. So that the Tibetan how translation is here. It's a little bit look like we need to realize this great perfection, which is the true nature of the ground. Could be, but it's not really in a sense of wording in the Tibetan, and the meaning as is more the true nature of the ground. We need to realize the true nature of the ground. The true nature of the ground itself is called ground. Yeah, this is Dzogchen ground. And then the realize part, may I realize, means we have maybe have not realized yet. And which means the realization part is called view, or the understanding part of the view, and believing part of the view. So that is, we think about view and what is ground and view. Ground is the to be known or to be understood, to be realized, and the view is the realizing or understanding, and this is related to a practitioner. The ground is almost is nature of phenomena, so we cannot really alter it or fabricate or anything. It's nature. And view, of course, we have good view, bad view, and middle, maybe wrong view, right view. And view could be many, but somehow we need to gain a correct view, or we need to make our view as correct as possible. That's called view and the realization. Okay, is that clear, or now we know view and realization? Yes?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the verse that Bill just read, it says without beginning, middle, or end. But then last time, you also said that the ground exists before samsara and nirvana, and it exists before each moment of confusion. So it seems like there's kind of a contradiction here. That one is saying, the verse was saying to me that the ground the existence of the ground somehow transcends time. But then when we say it exists before samsara and nirvana, it's almost saying that it's still within a time framework. So Rinpoche, maybe you can explain a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, that I think for us, soon as we conceptualize the ground, then it's not the ground. As soon as we conceptualize the ground, then it's not really it's a ground. It's our model of kind of mental image that comes to us, so we can describe. So that's why this ground has this, because this is beyond concept. Once we put in a concept, then the time and space is involved, and that's why we need to sort of narrative or samsara and nirvana, the origin of samsara and nirvana, that's put before time and space exist, because even nuances that time and space arrive, then it's a much more coarse concept. But we put this ground ontology or the existence of ground, and before it seems less concept comparing to inner conceptuality. But here is much Jigme Lingpa's more practical way. It's saying the realization of the ground. I mean, may we all realize this ground, what the realization, the objects of realization is that there cannot be a separate reality beyond the nature of samsara and the nirvana itself. And these three kayas are nature of or phenomena. And here, Jigme Lingpa's put the what the essence is empty, the Rangxin, the nature is luminous, and then the great compassion is pervasiveness of that. That then comes bring almost back to the more Dzogchen ground as a reality phenomena, ultimate reality, or not even ultimate reality. Maybe this is the whole reality of the Dharmadhatu, or the Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya, union of Sambhogakaya and Nirmanakaya. It's a little bit different way presentation, because if we say, may I realize these ground before samsara and nirvana, it's now we are even convoluted more, putting time and space to, it makes more complicated rather than directly realizing the nature of our mind, which is luminous and emptiness, union of luminous and emptiness. I have this question when Trungpa Rinpoche giving, pointing the mind, I ask this primordial ground is whether Gundu Songpo or not. He say for sure that primordial ground is Samadhavajra. So if we somehow comes to practice it more directly what it is, rather than putting in a narrative to telling stories to making sense to conceptual mind. So we're trying to go beyond concept. It's a little bit, of course, getting more and more complicated. I was trying to translate Ting the supreme vehicle, treasury of supreme vehicle, and particularly this area, the what we call the seven views on the ground in the Dzogchen tradition. And it's maybe I can just put you in here to see. Of course, you can change wordings and anything that you can see if one. This is kind of very important, but of course always complicated. Most difficult part is Dzogchen ground. So this is what Longchenpa say. There is 7 assertions made by make on Dzogchen ground by Dzogchen practitioners, Dzogchen philosophers, whatever we call. And according to Longchenpa, any one of these assertions are not correct, not the correct description on the ground. And this is a little bit different than some writings we see early 17 tantras and so forth, but Longchenpa is clear that these are not, sorry, and he explains a little bit further to saying this one. That's sort of summary, but then this doesn't go through. So up to 4, what he says here, and then I'm trying to 5 to 6. Of course, you don't want to think harder, as you don't need to read, but I'm just sharing. This is not available in English. I just, purpose of my interest and relate to my dissertation, maybe I find out this could be interesting. And so any one of these are not Dzogchen view. I mean, if you assert, and here's putting 7 possibilities, people would think what Dzogchen ground is. If we think in any one of these way, then it's not a correct view. And so then it's helped us a little bit that what we should not think. Then what we should think is then we need to another level to understand. But his main argument is Dzogchen ground should be the sort of union of the primordial purity and spontaneous passion. So that's, I think, Jigme Lingpa's prayer makes same thing, talking about the Dangba and empty essence, nature, luminous nature, and so forth. So let me know if any wording that you can think improve. We are here. If you know the tertiary of words meanings, if there's also would have these 7 viewpoints. And the most interesting part is, I think, these 2 texts are a little bit interpret maybe a little bit differently. So you can pull out to look at the uh, treasury of words meanings to see he's saying same thing or I think a little bit different. But I haven't done he's more further down. He's saying these seven all faulty sort of view, and that we can look at next week. The problem is, I need to say, next week maybe I may not able to hold Zoom meeting. I will be in Florida, and I need to go through some physical checkups and maybe following some treatments. But we see. Maybe I'm not feeling that great to talk about ground. Ground is more fun when you are not fun, maybe not ground. But anyway, that's just a note from me directly. It's not find you will not find in English to comparing this particular passage in other way. I'm sure you will do. Yeah, James.
Yeah, well, just to be sure here. So in what you pasted, the first list reads from 1 to 6. The seventh item is the last sentence. That's probably clear to everyone. But then the next list you pasted has 1 to 5, although there's no fifth item, and then 1 to 3. But I think this is just 7 items explaining the logic of the first list of 7, correct?
Yeah, the first list are he's just
Present,
pointing out what these seven are.
right. And the
And
second list is showing how that logic works somehow.
yeah, and I trying to put all seven together, but the chat box doesn't accept. I divide it into two, then a number mix up. So number 1 should be 5, 2 should be
I
6.
understand. I got it clarified. I'll make a document for everyone. And then this is your personal translation from the Tech Chok Sut?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to know what I'm looking at. Thank you.
And anyone's comment would be good if anyone can say more. And meanwhile, reading Jigme Lingpa's this ground path version prayer would be really helpful to us to understanding. Yes.
Can I just ask to clarify? You said that the first 7 assertions, according to Longchenpa, they're all wrong.
Not only first. The first one's list 7, that how many possibility lists are there? That's 7. That's a traditional 17 Tantra and Nyingma and Longchenpa's others writings. These 7 lists are well-known sort of Dzogchen ground. And then he explains through these each list a little bit, explain why these each list functions. So then later he will he already post these saying these are wrong, and now he will go through or he will conclude that why these are not why these are wrong, because the only genuine ground is union of the primordial purity and spontaneous presence together, not only the gata. Usually, traditionally, that's primordial purity is the genuine ground, but he doesn't do that. You can see his list is first comes primordial pure. Usually they put primordial pure in the last, and that say the 6 are faulty, but 7th is correct. But he already put this purposely primordial pure first, and then say the whole 7 are faulty. But these may not found in other Longchenpa's writings, such as the treasury of words, the meanings, and other writings. He may have different. Some people think, I'm not sure, because Longchenpa wrote these 7 tertiaries here. Mainly, some are more philosophical, kind of covers all the Buddhist tenets. Some are more meditation, but the main Yingtic teachings condense 11 topic is the tertiary of words and meanings. That covers all Yingtic teachings. That's for sure. The hard essence tradition, Dzogchen hard essence. And then supreme vehicle, you can see through name. Sometimes people translate sublime vehicle, sometimes supreme vehicle. But it has, I think, 24 chapters or more. Now I don't remember exactly. But it goes through all the Dzogchen topics. And here the ground part. The ground part is chapter 8. And here, according to others, these texts is written almost his later part of his life. He's become much more mature intellectually, what they call practically, and practically. No, maybe not that good. Anyway, he's much more profound. So that's why they think this text is maybe much more profound than the other texts. And however, a conversation with others, I read Longchenpa's biography. Sadly, nobody translate that. It seems the Tibetan is a little bit difficult to translate sort of early writings. That's the one biography that's written by his students is kind of quite clear, but clear that what he's doing, what he wrote, and for those, and there his students say these text is written for or wrote for his kind of funerary eulogy, or what they call eulogy, for his teacher, Rinzhi Kumaranza. So when Kumaranza's funeral eulogy, he wrote these texts. But I mentioned that with others, but they think that could be written much later for that purpose, but not necessarily at that kind of occasion or during that time. Either way, these texts is really, really precious, but it's a little bit difficult to Bill say something. You want to say something, Bill?
No, so somebody was just asking if the treasury of words and meaning is translated, and I just let them know where they could find it.
Oh, okay, yes. So anyway, that's just we can sometimes talk about Longchenpa's writings. It's so wonderful to talk about Jigme Lingpa's writings, other thing. And we are fortunately have access to these writings, and also we are trying to understand Jigme Lingpa's this ground path fruit prayer and Vajra verses at the same time. And I just wanted to point out that Longchenpa has sort of deeper explanation on this ground. Yes, James?
I'd like to, I have a couple questions about what you just went over. Can I clarify some things?
Yes.
So, when you said this list differs from other lists, even in Longchenpa's own writings, I think you're saying this is the list from the Treasury of the Supreme Vehicle. Is that the final text, as you were talking about, like it came later in his time? So this is the most mature writing of his?
Yes.
Okay. So in the Treasury of Words and Meanings is where he gives the list of 7, and he says all of these are incomplete, but Kadak is the best way, right, to describe it.
That's the traditional way of saying it.
And so you're saying here in the precious treasury of the supreme vehicle is the point where he asserts even that is incomplete. It has to be the union of Kadak and Lundrup.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I understand now.
And that's why his setting is different here, because he's the Kadak primordial pures come first. Usually the primordial pures safe to until the 7th, and then that makes sort of shows that 7th is the correct one. Yeah. Brian?
I have a few questions. So the first one is like to confirm the understanding, is ground basically equivalent to the naturally occurring timeless awareness mentioned in Chuang Sot at the beginning, as far as the 3 aspects, the primordial purity, spontaneous presence, and all pervasive compassion? And if yes, is the purpose of having the terminology ground to say that the reality of every phenomenon and mental experience is based on this awareness? So there's no exception.
Yes, that's the 3 kayas are the nature of all phenomena, including Rigpa itself.
Gotcha. So ground is basically Vector, the same thing.
Whenever I say yes, there's always no. So yes and no.
Yes or no?
Yeah, because the ground is, the trying to explain ground as before samsara and nirvana, before Rigpa and Marik. Marik means ignorant, Rigpa means knowledge. So before even separation of awareness and ignorance, there should have a basis.
Ground.
But then comes to we chant Jigme Lingpa's, the ground itself is 3 kayas. And that's
Gotcha.
why I'm saying it's the more I learn from ground, the text, Longchenpa and others, I hesitate to. We can't say anything. That's why I'm saying to Gurjen. I asked to Gurjen, but directly he said, "Yeah, ground is primordial Buddha. It's no problem with that." But at the same time, if we're trying to say also ground is the before primordial Buddha, which is Samadhi, then Samadhi is not ground. Samadhi arise from ground, yeah, and then samsara is also rise from ground, and then we have a much more deeper I'm trying to writing this ground for more other perspectives and other teachings. That's sort of my dissertation would be. So maybe, of course, you all will have see my writings, and I will need your inputs and so forth. But meanwhile, just think about, don't just think not, I don't want to say rigidly, but it's just don't fixate anything, because even these 7 possibilities, the best possibilities they're using here, are not working for the ground. So that's just, I think, sort of a good start from there. Yeah, that's okay.
Gotcha. Thanks for clarifying. And one last question.
Yes.
So by looking at the 3rd and 4th point, is it saying that the ground is neither indeterminate nor determinate? So it's outside of those 2 extremes.
Yes, if ground is certain, then either samsara or nirvana, one would not appear, yeah, because then we have no choices. It's the one way. If indeterminate, then it means there's no predictability. Then it's also another problem. So it's that's why it seems contradiction, determined and indeterminate, and so forth. But you can expand these through writings such as Malcolm Smith's this Buddha in a Palm or something, and then the Longchenpa's Treasury of Words, the meanings. You can just look at this area, the 7 ground areas. The ground is the first topic, and then you can look at and familiarize, and then look at the Longchenpa's writing here. What I'm sure I'm not giving you sort of wrong message. Longchenpa here is clear that all these 7 are faulty grounds. I mean, it's misunderstanding. Until you understand the union of primordial purity and spontaneous person. Yeah, in Tibetan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now we are expert on ground, and ground is not far away from us. Longchenpa here always say the Rigpa. That's, I think, another thing maybe we need to pay attention. Awareness means Rigpa. The essence of Rigpa means relate to us. Here he's often saying that because based on the assumption of our understanding of our mind, the essence of Rigpa is whether primordial purity or spontaneous present. That's why people just assume that the ground is must be that. And so this primordial purity and spontaneous present, that's often used, and the Rigpa here's I mentioned all the time. You can see those 7 explanations, except the first one, Longchenpa use as a Rigpa. The first one is used as self-occurring or naturally occurring gnosis, and then it's called essence of Rigpa. So my understanding, Yixie and Rigpa, we talk about this. Yixie is more reality of all, and Rigpa is more our own awareness that I aware, I know, and those things. Yixie means primordially. People translate primordially knowing or primordial knowing, and which means nothing to do with us. It's always Lord. There be. So Rigpa, the nature of Rigpa is of course primordial, knowing, and somehow we get there. Spencer, you have something?
Yeah, I've got a question from Lee. He was
Okay.
wondering, is it not the case that Upadesha practices confirm Kadak Lundrup as the Dzogchen understanding known as view?
So that's the we are trying to see. Katak Lundro is not a view. Understanding of Katak and Lundro is view. So the ground and view we need to separate. What reality is ground, what we are understanding is view. So Katak and Lundro are describing the nature, like it's saying ultimate reality. So knowing ultimate reality is called view, not the ultimate reality is view. Okay, then we can look at our verses. And of course, anyone want to project the English, we can use just our own self.
James,
Well, yeah, I can share it. I was going to let you share it because mine doesn't have the Chinese, which might be useful to you.
either way is fine. I guess I will share.
So I think we spend quite a lot of time on the ground. The natural state of the ground is free from complexity. So that is complexity is coming from all over. We can make conceptually seven and much more maybe. Yeah. And then the ground itself is not just when we talk about the ground, of course, talking about the base of samsara and the nirvana, then something needs to appear. And the ground appearances are Rigpa, Dharmakaya. Here, I'm not sure. Ground appearances. Is these ground appearances appearances of ground? Is that how English you read, or how do you read? What this dash is doing?
I don't know if it makes a difference in English, whether you say appearances of the ground or ground appearances. I think it comes across the same in English.
Yeah, they're equivalent.
Okay. So the ground itself is not appearances here, and that's for clear. And appearances of ground means from the ground needs to or already happened. We have no choice because samsara and nirvana are already here for us. And I think you can make a little bit fonts larger on or the image. And these ground that we are talking about is appearing or appearing base or appearing. What appear is another complication that we almost we need to look at another text to look at. There is 8 doors of the appearing and so forth, because if ground is sort of unbiased nature, which is sort of being in before samsara and nirvana, there is no appearance of samsara and nirvana, then arise something. And that this ground, we also look at the Jigme Lingpa's chanting that Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya in a downwards this ground. And this ground then must be, the appearances must be Rigpa or the awareness Dharmakaya. So that's what I'm saying. There's no delusion or obscuration or anything. And so that's why this ground is Samadha ground is Buddha. As that case, of course, we can think about that kind of contradiction, because ground is before Dharmakaya, and at the same time, ground is Dharmakaya. So that's what we are discussed right or earlier. And so for practitioners, ground truth as Dharmakaya is better, because then the to be realized or to be recognized or to be whatever we call, that's need to be occur in our Rigpa Dharmakaya. So when looking at our mind nature is Dharmakaya, and the ground's appearances Dharmakaya. These appearances means any activity that occur, of course, need to occur in the ground and appears from that. And we need to recognize that as Dharmakaya. So that's why it's important to recognize that the ground's appearances is Dharmakaya. Last session, we talked about this, how to meditate on it. Means Rigpa means I always think that awareness that somehow relates to us, our own mind nature. And we are looking at our mind nature through our mind nature, by our mind nature, which means that then there's nothing else but Rigpa Dharmakaya and this meditation. So that's why its doctrine, Trikyu practice is a very powerful practice if you can sit down quietly and looking at your Rigpa Dharmakaya. And then we have path is coming. So you can see almost the first line is just talking about the ground. Free from complexity means there is nothing you can do. And then we have the ground appearances that are Rigpa Dharmakaya, something occurring, something that relate to us, some action or some movements going on, appearance or appearing, and at the same time, these are all nothing but Dharmakaya. And then we comes to the path, the ground, path, and fruition. These three are always comes up when we talk about the practice, because of what we understand correctly is the ground, that is the reality. And then the path. A path involves with three things, yeah? A view, meditation, and conduct. The path always. And The view means first we need to understand the ground, and secondly, that understand need to be nourished or develop or maintain. That is called meditation. Meditation is familiarization. That's Tibetans often use. Meditation is not meditation. Meditation is familiarization, which means what we understand. If we understand correctly, we still need to maintain that part of understanding. And earlier, last session, we talked about the repetition of Dzogchen meditation. We may not kind of correctly or sustain or remain on the realization of Rigpa Dharmakaya for a long time, but we have whatever glimpse we have, we need to repeat that again and again to familiarize ourselves. So, but first we need to gain the view, realization, or the understanding of the ground. So that's why this distinguishing or the clarification of 7 grounds, that 40 grounds, makes us to see what is right and what is wrong, or what is correct and what is not correct. Once it's correct, then we can look at our mind, which either we call view or meditation sometimes, and that's okay. We are meditation and view become sort of unified there, because there's nothing that you need to worry about that you are wrong view. If you look at the your Rigpa, mind nature, so the mind nature is seeing mind nature itself. So you have, there's no doubt or there is incorrect or there is anything that you need to worry about. That's why it's in Mepam Rinpoche's teachings, he called He Lam Riwen Nang Dong Song Tun Yu, yet the ground, path, inversion, and emptiness and appearances all are unity and union of that in Mepam Rinpoche's prayer that we look at GBI last October. And then he say, path has always been clear of effort from very beginning. So usually when we see this stage, now the ground is free from complexity, means there's no conceptualization or anything cannot evolve because ground is already free from complexity. And then Rigpa is Dharmakaya that recognize, then there's not really path to or the efforts to make on a path to realize or understand or anything, because it's just there. At the very beginning, once put we effort, then that is complexity, that is fabrication, and that is a more concept delusional thing. And that's why effort is always not necessary for Dzogchen practice. And often we call resting in the mind nature or the settling in the mind nature is more effortlessly relaxing in the mind nature rather than effortfully looking at or searching on what we have in for mindfulness in the sutras, that we have this sort of analytical insights, investigating whether there is a self or not, these are concepts that leads another concept to much more complicated way. So that's why the path I said includes meditation, view, meditation, and conduct. So conduct itself is also conduct usually helps to meditation because the personhood is rely on based on the activities, actions, or conducts. The conducts have a more effortful, and then the meditation sort of influenced by that. And the conducts are also less effortful and also less restricted or anything that would be suitable for the Dzogchen practice. When this nature itself is realized, it is a great source of freedom. So you can see the nature state of the ground is free from complexity. If we know or we realize this nature, then the liberation comes from there. Liberation, sometimes in the Dzogchen tradition, we call liberation took place in primordial ground. So it's a sort of returning back to the primordial ground. As there's nothing new things happened. It's just how you can search the origin or to return back to the home. And sometimes we call this mother light and child light that merge together, or our Rigpa, the child light, and the primordial ground, Dharmakaya, is mother light. When even we call in a Paldo, after that, in a Paldo, these two lights can meet. So these are important because it's knowing or confidence or belief in to say we are in the ground. Our Rigpa is Dharmakaya, and meditation or view is effortless. And we need to realize that. And the only realization is matter. Other anything that concept or effort, those are more sometimes we can call further kind of delusional force. And Mipham Rinpoche's text are saying whatever we say is in a conceptual framework. So that's how they're saying. And then the fruition, ground path fruition. Fruition is not something separate and set apart. So Dzogchen ground path and fruition are not three separate things. As fruition itself should occur in the ground, but that is not really fruition. We are just going back or returning back to our original form. Okay, I talk quite a lot. I'm not sure making sense or not. Please let me know what do you think. Then we go to next verse.
Kempo, I have some questions about the meditation.
Yes.
So when you're meditating, your mind nature looks at mind nature.
Yes.
What you're looking at is the ground.
Mhm. The ground is just concept that trying to making sense to us. We are not looking at the ground. There is no ground.
Okay.
Uh, I think in order to telling a story, we need to start from somewhere. So that's called ground. But actual practice, we are not concerning or thinking or looking or ground at all. We are just looking what we have. What we have is Rigpa Dharmakaya that here is talking about the awareness, our mind nature.
So is it awareness of awareness? I mean, any word you use is just not going to be correct description, but is in terms of just the actual what's trying to describe what's happening, awareness of awareness? Is that the practice? Because that's I find that's what I find myself doing is when I'm trying to do that practice, I'm trying to be aware of my own awareness. And I just don't know if that's the right way to practice.
I think that's not the right way to practice. I'm not criticizing anything. I'm just trying to point out that here we are not looking at any particular things, which means we are not looking at our awareness, whether there's aware or not thing. We are trying to just rest in what it is without paying attention.
Okay.
If we pay attention, then we are already in a conceptual world.
Okay.
If we were aware something means we are already in a conceptual world. But here, of course, that's really good question. So that's why this is not really meditation or viewing something. It's we need to put some languages to explain, but the main method is just looking your back of your head, yeah. Because we need to turn inwardly our focus. That just direction, how we direct our Rigpa, our sense, our focus. As soon as we do that, then our job is done. We have nothing to do. It's just resting in there. Even the actual meditation during this period of how long depend on individuals, but we should not have experience, which means we don't have awareness of whether I'm present or not. We have that, means we are pay attention on something. And that is, that is maybe slowly we can discuss more and more. But people, of course, modern mindfulness, you need to know everything, moment by moment. And that's also another challenging we need to go a little bit further than that. And traditional way of meditation that we have meditating on deities, the experience that the bliss and emptiness and so forth, we need to go beyond that. And this meditation is go beyond this effort for or pay attention or aware of momentary or awareness and this part. But however, the post-meditation, or what we call the minute or moment or during how long, we don't know, but on this awareness, we should not have experience, but after we know what happened. But that is after, it's not during the meditation. That's two different things. After that, we have confidence that sort of what happened. Subject-object duality collapse, that we know, we trust that. While the actual meditation itself is a little bit different. So everyone, don't worry, it will occur naturally, and then become less worry and more relaxing. Yeah. Okay, General.
Just following up on what Marco just asked, I wonder, but you also said this meditation is not about just zoning out and just being almost resting in a state that there's just simply no thoughts and it's not just zoning out, right? So there's some kind of an alertness. I guess that's what I don't know if that's what Marco was referring to as being aware of that awareness, but it's not like just completely passing out. There's some kind of a alertness. Would you say that's the case?
I think we can look one more. Spencer, Dunjung Rinpoche's calling Lama from her.
Sorry, I'm still new at this. You think I would have learned by now. Oh, the share button. It's giant.
Yeah, that's core. Yeah, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Okay.
So I just wanted to point out, not coming from my mouth, but someone else we can trust that say, yeah, this is not sort of black out or space out or zooming out, but there is a. So that's why it's a little bit difficult to put in words, but need to, through experience. That is a very bad word, yeah, we can use, but somehow we can familiarize through that. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
Down. I think almost last one. Here. Here, yeah. Can you see? Unrecognizable clarity. Line. Can you see, everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. This Tibetan is even better. Zala ngozong me be to da re dong jemba daga thong ji lama yi dor ji ngo yi. So this is, I think, most profound. It kind of reminds me all the time that. So this I wanted to point out. That's why I like this Lama Jumbo to really point out. Unrecognizable clarity. It's unrecognizable at the same time as clarity. It's unrecognizable. It's not good in English, I think. It's I think it's better to say indistinguishable. Unrecognizable is like it's funny word for me in English, but English speakers may be much more happy with that. Could be. indistinguishable is better. It's not really particularly we are focusing on to identify things, but its clarity is there. So that's why I wanted to point out the clarity is key point here. It's not just space out dullness or those. And also the naked, raw nature of empty awareness should be naked and raw. So here is two things that are used. Jigme has both meaning of in a Tibetan raw and naked. But here seems repeated in English, but I'm not sure it's necessary or not. What's missing here? Oh wow, okay. Since this is not translate all in English, maybe we can find better translations of it. So here we have doctor. Doctor means free from conceptual, but that seems not included in here.
Kempo, a lot of times they use naked for that.
A doctor?
Free of concepts, free of dressing it up, naked.
Okay. So that's understandable in English. Okay. And then this is the only absolute guru in which that we talk about. I recognize this as Ishidorji, so that's as much more kind of poetic, devotional phrases are coming. That's blending these free from elaboration with kind of devotional guru, a relationship with the guru and faith and devotion. That's kind of blending here. That's more skillful way, but we are really looking at the indistinguishable clarity and free from conceptualization, raw nature of empty awareness. That is subject is that, object is that, and also the verb aware is coming from there. So these that means there's not really object, there's not really subject, and there's no if there's no subject and object, there would not have really action verbs going on either. So that's why this practice is powerful. And we look down for more lines, and thank you. And this, you can see, it's the great abiding nature. That is the ground or nature or whatever we call from the beginning. Means that is primordially we have. And already say here, in a primordial basis. And then he's blending again with the devotional guru or with calling Lama from her, and then we have another line. Next page, you can see the meditation sort of how we can do this. And all content, the nature beyond thoughts when we meditated, or the view or the ground. Of course, there's not even a name of delusion, then why we needed to trying to do something is just need to relax, yeah. And then we have this, whatever rises is the all display of Dharmakaya. We look at Jigme Lingpas, that our Rigpa is Dharmakaya, ground appearances of Rigpa Dharmakaya, so sort of. The great blessing, which is to free from any end. And we say the effort for meditation is more distortion than realization and so forth. So you can see this is really precise, direct, and also clear writings. Okay, that is pretty much we can do today. I think we can discuss. We have 7 more minutes. If you want to, maybe we can another verse start from next week or next week or some. Oh, I don't know. I will let you know. And meanwhile, don't forget to chant Jigme Lingpa's ground path and version. That makes much more clear. And if you have time, look at Dunjum, which is Lama Jambu once in a while, and to see how these become naked and aware and also raw. The Rigpa that makes us or free from our chain of thoughts and so forth. So this is not really effortful practice, but Lama Jambu, of course, blended with view, meditation, devotions, blending together. It's a much more powerful than just staring at empty awareness, and always helps each other. Even Nagarjuna say, when you realize emptiness, your compassion should increase. So similarly here, once we realize our mind nature, then devotion should arise naturally. Yeah. Anyone want to add anything?
Lee has a question.
Yes.
So he says, naked and raw describe Rigpa knowing Rigpa beyond all appearances. Is this so?
Can you say one more?
Oh, he said, naked and raw describe Rigpa knowing Rigpa beyond all appearances. Is this so?
Yeah, but I think before that we have this indiscriminate or indistinguishable clarity. The clarity part is knowingness part, but this knowing is not knowing dualistically. And then Rigpa is showing Rigpa is knowing Rigpa itself, and so the most teachings introduce this because what we have is only we were aware something. That only we have, and so that's why it's we cannot just denial that say it's nothing. There's something going on, and that is why that's through awareness, and that's why we can use that, or we can resting in that awareness, and that awareness should be a naked or the raw. Is once involved subject-object duality in there, then Rigpa is not naked and nor raw. but also clarity is early question. The clarity is very important part. That's why it's saying indistinguishable, but it's clarity. It's intense clarity. It's not dull with kind of no, that part. So once we look at our mind, we are not just spacing out. There's a recognition. This recognition is not a subject-object duality to conceptualizing. Until we do correctly meditation on Trikyu practice, we will not have that that confidence or that experience is dirty word, but we use now is fine. We will not experience that part. Once we experience that, then we will never forget. So that's why it's saying that Dzogchen teaching, Trikyu teaching, if you really get it directly mind-pointing teaching, you will never forget. It's not like conceptually you build to understanding. It's directly, again, experiencing. So realizing or encounter with or accessing that part, yeah. Now you all have that, so and that's good. Yes, Brian.
I can ask a question. So if we apply the look at the back of head instruction correctly, yeah, it doesn't matter whether you meditate in Starbucks, a noisy environment, or in shrine room, because like the environment and the external sound would not affect the process. And then like if I'm assuming if it's done correctly, the thoughts would naturally subside. Is this a proper understanding?
Yes, environment doesn't matter, but
Gotcha.
if there is a very loud sound, maybe vibrating, it affects our psychophysical level. As soon as the internal force that makes our psychophysical system, that would have some impacts. That's why maybe quiet places a little bit better than busy or lousy, noisy place. But the
Gotcha.
key point is oneself should not involve any action, not should eliminate the external, shut down external environment, because we are looking at looking directly through our open mind, our open eyes. We are not worrying to seeing things. We are not plugging our ears to stop hearing, and so forth. So it matters, I think, if really one's advanced meditators. I don't think it's external force doesn't matter. But maybe beginners, we need to sometimes be quietly and a little bit concerned about external environment.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay, and I will be in Florida for a few weeks, and meanwhile, if I'm going to teach Saturdays in the next few weeks, I will let you know. If not, then doesn't really matter. You can chant these and practice and Lama Jambus, and there's plenty of practice you can do, yeah? Okay, thank you so much, and enjoy your life.
Good luck with Florida. Hope everything is all clear.
It should be okay. If something happened, I will let you know as well. I will share with you all. Meanwhile, it seems okay. I'm feeling good, and weather here is good. But now I need to go to Florida, which is much warmer, so even better maybe there. So we know. Okay. Bye.
Take care,
Bye. Thank
Kempo.
you.
Uh,
Kempo.